Hello and welcome. This is your Saturday News at Noon. I'm your host, Keith Lander, coming to you from the Tabernacle Baptist Church right here in Dayton, Ohio. I welcome you. I welcome your comments that you posted up. I appreciate that. That keeps me going. I appreciate all of your thoughts. And hopefully you'll stay tuned for another episode of Saturday News. We're going to start today with the scam alert. And if your identity has been stolen and your social security number is being used by somebody else who stole it, basically, that you can get a new social security number. Yeah, I didn't know that myself. So yeah, you can get a new social security number, not a new card, a whole new number if yours has been stolen. And you can call the Social Security Administration fraud hotline, and the fraud hotline number is 1-800-269-0271. That's the Social Security Administration fraud hotline. It's 1-800-269-0271. And you can call and you can report that your Social Security number you believe has been stolen and somebody is out there using it. There's also a website you can go to, Social Security Administration website, which is www.ssa.gov. That's www.ssa.gov. And so you can contact Social Security office and make sure that you get that new Social Security number. And when you do get that number, you probably have to do some follow-ups with some of the outlets who have your Social Security number on hand and make sure they know you got a new number. And so it may be a headache, but sometimes we got to go through things in life that we don't want to. And this is one of them because, as I always say, the devil is busy and there's folks out there stealing your identity and using your name and your Social Security numbers and this kind of thing. And you can keep track of that. So spread the word. Now, as you know, you've seen the Derek Chauvin trial in Minneapolis. You've seen he's found guilty on all 3 counts. Hopefully he'll go to jail for a long time and never see another free day in his life because we can't bring back George Floyd. And so George Floyd won't see another day, and this guy shouldn't see another day of freedom. And these killings and these police brutality issues, they go back a whole lot further than just in the year 2000. You already know. You can look at the footage from even Dr. King spoke about the police brutality as it relates to the African American community. And you can check out Dr. King's words of his own in this clip right here.
We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality.
Okay, so I'll give you some stats just up to date. Police, this is out of the CBS News. Police in the U.S. has killed 164 black people in the first 8 months of 2020. Now that's just the first 8 months of 2020, which was last year. They killed 164 blacks. That's the stats, folks. And according to the Washington Post, 982 people have been killed by police in the past year. Black Americans who account for less than 13% of the population are killed by police at more than twice the rate of white people. So we're getting gunned down by twice the rate of white people. And one of the things that we always say, what needs to happen, we want justice, folks. We want these police officers to be held accountable. And one thing I appreciate in the Derek Chauvin trial in Minneapolis is the fact that there was, I think, either 10 or 12 Minneapolis police officers who testified against him. And that's what it takes, because I support, and I think we support, most people support, good policing. Police officers are doing their job on a daily basis. They're protecting the serving. They're not abusing their power. They're not misusing the public. And that's, we want to support those police officers who are protecting and serving. And I know some police officers out there that want to get rid of the bad cops too. Well, you're going to have to speak up. And see, in Minneapolis, this is a systemic problem. People want to say, it's just a one-off. This is not no one-off. You can go back to days of Rodney King, when Rodney King got beat down. None of those officers served any jail time. And guess what, folks? In police profession. You can get fired from one department and you can go work for another department. So firing them, that's easy to do. You can fire them. That's not a remedy. They still gonna go over and find another job at another department. So we need to close that. If you get fired at one police department, you should not be allowed to join any police department in the United States. Plain and simple. You know what I mean? They fired you for misconduct. You get fired for abuse, misconduct, violating policies. You shouldn't find another job somewhere else. That'll help. And also, we got to understand, when we look at how white folks are treated and engaged with the police, and you've seen the videos, I've seen the videos, you can go to any social media outlet and you can see videos where a white suspect is fighting with the police. They even to the point where they grab the nightstick and start hitting the police with it, wrestle around, the white suspect get loose, jump in the police cruiser and take off down the street, not a shot fired. Not a shot fired. So, and then you see also where there was one incident where this guy in a white truck, you can look it up, guy in a white truck, they're trying to arrest him. He's in the truck. The police car come, ram the truck. There's a police officer hanging on the truck on the driver's side. The guy in the truck, white dude, he trying to beat the officer off the truck. And the other officer standing around looking. The driver in the white truck just speed on off. The officer's still hanging on. You know what I mean? No shots fired. So to say that police can't use restraints when it comes to interaction of the public, they use restraints in these cases with white folks, but black folks won't get that benefit. The evidence speaks for itself. I'm not making this up. The evidence speaks for itself. And most of these cases where black folks who are unarmed get gunned down by the police is on traffic stops. Traffic stops. How can a traffic stop get to the point where the police is killing people? In Philando Castillo case, I believe that was, he told the guy, I got a concealed weapon in the car, whichever it was, but he reached he said, I'm going to the dashboard to get it and let you see it. The officer unloaded. The man had his daughter and the wife in the back. The police officer didn't give a dang about that. He just shot the man, cold-blooded murder. And so when you look at this thing, ask yourself, why don't we see videos of white folks being treated like this? Ask yourself that question. Where's the videos of white folks being gunned down for a brake light out, unexpired tags, air freshener in the window? Selling Lucy cigarettes on the street corner. And Eric Garner get choked out to his death for allegedly selling cigarettes. Passing off of allegedly a counterfeit bill, as they say George Floyd did, $20 counterfeit bill. He ends up dead, end up being choked out with Derek Chauvin knee on his neck for over 9 minutes, choked the man to death with his knee for 9 minutes. And that had to be caught on camera because when the report came out from the Minneapolis Police Department, they said that George Floyd died from a medical condition. They lied about that. And I'm glad we got a new Department of Justice because now they're looking into this case of the wrongdoing, possibly by the Minneapolis Police Department. So that's why I say this thing is systemic. This is not a one-off. It's a systemic thing. And let me tell you this, just because Derek Chauvin went to jail, I guarantee you there's some police out there who don't like it. And you're going to see the results of that. They're going to get more aggressive. And we have to get to the point where we want the justice system to administer justice. These officers are doing this because they feel like there's no consequences. They feel like they can shoot unarmed black folk, kill unarmed black folks, and come up with an excuse and go into court and get off. These ain't the days, these shouldn't be the days when them white folk killed Emmett Till and walked in the courtroom and walked back out with no punishment. And you can track it. There's been studies done that say that less than 2% of fatal shootings by police are even prosecuted for murder. Less than 2%. You can look at the studies. I looked at the studies. You know, so the bottom line is, we want these officers to be held accountable. And see, let me tell you this too. I hear people talking about, well, what about the black on black crime up in Chicago? Well, what about the white on white crime? Huh? Don't give me that nonsense. There's more white folks out there beating up, killing each other than there are black folks. There's white on white crime too, but you don't hear that, do you? Don't give me that nonsense about what's going on in Chicago. You know, that's an excuse. So what you're telling me is that when the call went out and said Black Lives Matter, right? That upset some folk. That phrase, Black Lives Matter. Now, we ain't talking about other folk, lives don't matter. We're just saying Black Lives Matter because black folks is getting the short end of justice. We're getting the big end of police brutality and police shootings. And we want to focus in on that. Right? Well, I don't see white folk getting gunned down by the police unarmed in the numbers that black folks are. And so black lives do matter. Now, for those who want to come up and say, well, white lives matter too. Okay, well, show me the evidence where white folks is being treated like black folks, right? And I may join your cause. You can't show it to me, can you? You just out there because you hate the fact. Some of these people hate the fact that when we say Black Lives Matter, and these folks say white lives matter, what they really want to say is, we don't care about you black lives. See, Malcolm X said, keep it simple. I'm going to keep it simple on today's show. I tell you that. And so I'm going to keep it real simple on today's show. I ain't going to mix no words. See, I ain't going to over-intellectualize this thing. We ain't got to over-intellectualize the thing, right? See, people going to come out, oh, we got to change the policy. We got to change policy. Well, we got laws on the book that say if you murder somebody, you can go to jail, right? Laws on the books already. These rogue police officers ain't following those laws. Even this justice system ain't following those laws. We need to follow the laws on the book right now. What's wrong with that? We all know what murder is. If you murder somebody, you know what's going to happen to you, and if it's proven in the court, you're going to jail. Same thing with these cops. These cops are not above the law. These cops are just like any other profession. There's some dirty cops out there, right? Some dirty cops. And those are the ones we're trying to get rid of because they make it bad on the good police officers out there. And I'm all in support of good policing. Now, this junk abusing the public, misusing the public, like some of these police officers we see, we shouldn't tolerate that. And the justice system shouldn't tolerate that. And if the justice system is tolerating that, like we've seen before, then it becomes a systematic problem. And we have to deal with that, from the judges to the attorney general to the prosecutors. And let me tell you this, Keith Ellison, who is the attorney general in Minneapolis, did what any prosecutor is supposed to do. He assembled his team, got the evidence, got witnesses, got other police officers to come in and testify against Derek Chauvin. And luckily that the young lady who took the video with her phone, luckily that was taken. With all that, that's how you got the guilty verdict. That's how you come up with a guilty verdict. So these prosecutors out here who halfway do their job trying to prosecute these people, these law enforcement officers are not all clean. There's some dirty ones out there. We got to get rid of the dirty ones. And you police unions, y'all need to help get rid of these dirty officers too. Otherwise, you become a problem. I'm not anti-union. I was a union rep myself. And I'd be the first one to tell a member of mine, you're wrong. And you know you're wrong, and you need to suffer the consequences. That's what some of these police unions need to do. But we'll see that in the future if you come through. And if you don't, then you become part of the problem also. You know, so enough's enough of this nonsense, y'all. We dealing with people's lives. We got black folks right now who, if a police officer coming behind them, their heart rate speed up. You know, they get nervous because we don't know if we're going to make it home. We want to go home too. The officer want to go home. And a routine traffic stop shouldn't result in a death sentence. The police is supposed to de-escalate these situations, not escalate the situation. They're escalating the situation. And they always go, well, he had warrants. Well, so? He had warrants, all right? Go get him. Well, you know where he lived. You know where the man lived, right? Well, go serve the warrant. You can serve a warrant on somebody's job. That ain't no excuse. And this nonsense about when they killed the young man, the other young man in Minneapolis, where a 26-year-old veteran police officer, she come talking about she mistook her taser mistook her gun for a taser. That's hard to believe, folks, because your taser's on one side, your gun's on the other. Your gun should be on your dominant side, right? Which if you're left-handed, it'd be on your left side. And if you're right-handed, your gun gonna be on your right side. Your taser gonna be on your left side. This woman got 26 years. She knew exactly what she did. That's why she hollered taser, because she know when she go to court, she gonna use that to try to get off. These people shouldn't get off, folks. You know why people who run from the police when they commit a crime? Because they don't want to get caught, because they know the percentage of time, most of the time they're going to jail. Well, guess what? The police should be held in that same view. When you commit a crime, police officer, you should go to jail too. And especially when it comes down to murder. That's what it's all about. We're going to see do Black lives really matter. We're going to see. You know, that remains to be seen. And like I said before, some of these officers, I know we were happy when Chevin went to jail. We were happy they got a conviction and he going to jail for murder. But I guarantee you there's some police officers out there that wasn't happy. And those are the ones that we need to expose. I'm talking to the good police, the good officers out there. Expose these people and get them out of your profession, because they're tainting the whole police officer profession. Y'all have to help. Y'all have to do what those officers did in Minneapolis. Y'all got to come and say up front that these police officers are bad and they don't need to be in the police rank and file. And the only way to minimize and stop this thing is to let these police officers know that you're going to jail if you abuse, misuse, and kill an unarmed citizen running in the opposite direction. That's what's going to stop it. When the police see a bunch of them going to jail for this nonsense, they'll stop it. That's what it takes. We don't need to over-intelligence this thing, because the laws are already on the books, folks. We just have to use them. And Keith Ellison, the Attorney General in Minneapolis, he did just that. He used the law and he put that officer in jail where he needed to be. And some of you other prosecutors out there, y'all need to take note of that, because the Attorney General is an elected position. And so the next time, right here in the state of Ohio, when the Attorney General's seats up for re-election, we need to remember who we're voting for and who's going to do the will of all the people, not protect a certain few bad apples in the police department. They don't need no protection. They need to be rooted out of the police department. And the unions need to come forth. The police administration need to come forth and get these people out of there. That's what it's going to take. So, let me move on and give you some local news. We got some local news, folks. Local news. Dayton Mayor Nan Whaley to run for Ohio governor. You've probably seen that. She's running for governor. And she'll be running against Mike Turner. And you can say what you want about Mayor Nan Whaley, but she's running. Look at her platform, folks. I say look at them close. Put hers up against Mike DeWine's and see what you get. DeWine already done lied to you once. You know, what was the lie he said? Do you remember when that stand your ground piece of legislation was being created by the Ohio lawmakers? And Mike DeWine came to Dayton when they had the shooting down in the Oregon district, and they had the big rally, and Dave Chappelle and all those folks. Y'all remember all that? He got on that stage, said he's going to do something about the gun violence. He said, oh, that piece of legislation, I'm not going to sign that. I got to look at the law. I'm not going to sign that piece of legislation. As soon as it hit his desk, he signed it. Mike DeWine, you went to churches, you went to organizations, you went to big public gatherings and told the people right here in the city of Dayton that you wasn't going to sign that piece of legislation, and I'll be doggone, you signed it, Mike DeWine. So, we already know what he about, right? We already know what he about. You know what I mean? You know, if I know you're a liar, if you lie once, you'll lie again and again. We had a stupid president to do that over and over again, and people fell for it. We shouldn't go back down that road no more, folks. And I hope this video get to Mike DeWine. Show it to him and prove me wrong, Mr. DeWine. Okay, we're going to move on. We're moving on. The next story, I love development, economic development, that is, especially in the West Dayton. And in West Dayton, we got some development coming. West Dayton, they got plans for a market, a new market. Healthy food market is, they're in the beginning phases, and they're going to have a market over on Germantown Street, almost at Germantown and Stewart Street. And one of the co-founders is Robbie Brandon. And Robbie Brandon says there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't have access to the same things that everybody else in other communities have just because of our income. And also Alexandria Carpenter, she's also one of the co-founders of the Healthy Family Market. And she said the people will be able to order in advance or order in the store, and then our staff will do the shopping for you to get the items you need and to have available for pickup whenever you need them. So you can just call the store and order your items and shoot by the store. They put in your trunk, they pay you, keep them, take on off. And so, you know, they are looking for, this thing will have a coffee house. They're going to have coffee, smoothies and smoothie shops, and room for support groups, education, and community gatherings. So it's going to be a community place where you can sit around and talk and get you some fresh food, and good food, that is. And so if you want to donate, they do have a website up and running. I suggest you type in Robbie Brandon on Facebook or the I can't pronounce, I almost got her name all mixed up. Alexandria Carpenter. You can look those names up, and they're on Facebook, and you can find out more about it. I may in the next show have both of these two young ladies on the show to explain this thing in detail, because this is much needed, folks. So tune in to the next show, and you'll see the two young ladies I'm speaking of, and they'll give you a more in-depth view of this healthy family market, which is coming. Now also, Anthony James Painting and Contracting. They're relocating from downtown to 1436 Cincinnati Street, which is the Stony Ridge neighborhood. Now, this company is going to invest about $436,000 into a commercial space. So that ain't no joke, man. These people ain't playing around. I mean, this is Anthony James. This company was founded in 1984. It's a family, minority-owned business that's specializing in contract painting for commercial and residential properties, and that's pretty good. So Anthony James Painting and Contracting. So look those folks up if you need some painting or some contracting, because they're moving on, and they talking big dollars, $439,000 to move over there right on Cincinnati Street. So we got people doing things, in this community that's helping the community, and I appreciate all the efforts. That's why I try to showcase some of these minority-owned businesses that are popping up, and hopefully you'll support them. Well, here's what your lawmakers are doing in Columbus. Instead of trying to help folks, get off the ground and fight the COVID, the Ohio state legislators, the Ohio law takes effect legalizing concealed knife carry. Also allows for brass knuckles. The law also permits manufacturing, sales, possession of brass knuckles, billy clubs, blackjacks, sandbags, switchblades, spring blades, and gravity knives. Now, I know what some of those things are, but I don't know what a sandbag is. But now it's legal to carry a sandbag, whatever that is, and switchblades and all this other kind of stuff. This is what your lawmakers are working on instead of trying to bring some relief to people in need. They're up there passing stupid laws like having people carry swing blades and switchblades and billy clubs and black jackets and brass knuckles. These are the people you voted on to go to in Columbus, and this is what the kind of piece of legislation that they're focusing in on, folks. Some garbage, absolute garbage. They ought to be ashamed of themselves to come up with a piece of legislation like this, and it passed. You know what I mean? Straight garbage. See, the prior law prohibited anyone from the state from carrying a concealed deadly weapon other than a handgun. Now, this House Bill 140, now it makes those weapons, they say, not a deadly weapon. Well, tell me not what a deadly weapon is. You ever got hit upside the head with a pair of brass knucks? If that don't kill you, it's like getting hit in the head with a hammer. It's almost as heavy as a hammer, some of them, brass knuckles and switchblades and all the other kind of nonsense they got on this list. Come on, Columbus, folks, y'all can't do no better than this. Y'all can't get any piece of legislation that'll help businesses, that'll help people in need. Y'all got to come up with this garbage? That's what y'all sent to Columbus. I didn't send them to Columbus. I sent some other folk to Columbus with some sense. Let me tell you this. Y'all hear about the White Lives Matter rally that didn't draw a lick of people, and rightfully so? White Lives Matter. They came up with a rally. And according to Newsweek, it said the white supremacists tried and failed miserably to rally the masses of racists around the country in the name of White Lives Matter, according to Newsweek. The rallies was a bust. They're supposed to be in 11 cities, including New York, Fort Worth, Texas, and Chicago. And I'll give you some of the highlights of this piece of whatever they was doing down there. Let me pause for a minute, because you can see down in Huntington Beach, I'll show you what I'm talking about. These white folks, they done lost their mind. I'm going to show you a clip, and I'll be back on the other side of this clip.
Hail Jesus! Hail Christ! This is our land! This is our land!
Doesn't look like it's
This is America!
All right, that's what I'm talking about, folk. Now look here. Now down in Albuquerque, New Mexico, on this thing, only one person showed up outside the city hall, right? According to NBC News. And so let's see, just 3 people showed up in Fort Worth, Texas, according to the NBC News. Let's see, where they at? Okay, in Memphis, Tennessee. Didn't nobody show up in Memphis, Tennessee. Nobody. And then in Nashville, Tennessee, only one person showed up. And after being there for about an hour and a half, that person said they was going home. And so I'm glad to see that these people got more sense than to come out to a White Lives Matter rally. Now, what you rallying for in the first place? What you white folk got to complain about? Somebody answer me that. What you white folk with a White Lives Matter, what you complaining about? Are you discriminated against? Is the justice system treating you bad? Are you being redlined at the bank? Are you being denied promotion because you're white? What you complaining about? There you go. Thank you. I knew y'all couldn't answer that question because they can't either. They're a bunch of fools out there. You know what I mean? Just like them clowns that stormed the Capitol and beat up the police and all this other kind of nonsense. And then look, this is the irony of all this thing. I hear these Republicans talking about, we like the police. Well, there was pieces of resolution when the Trump supporters stormed the Capitol, killed police officers, tried to beat up police officers, defecated in some of these Congress people's offices, just tried to destroy the whole Capitol, right? And then there was a bill come out, and even these Republicans didn't even support the piece of legislation to stop that nonsense. So don't tell me about you support the police. You didn't support them then. Come on, I'm gonna move on. FEMA program to help cover expense for COVID-related funerals. So, if you had to come out of pocket in a funeral, FEMA has a program that you can get reimbursed. Now, I think if you paid insurance or you had insurance, like life insurance, and that kind of thing, I don't think you can get that money back. But if you came out of pocket, I think you can get the money back. I'm gonna give you a phone number because for those who qualify, you can call FEMA. It's called the FEMA COVID-19 Funeral Assistant line number, and I'm gonna give you that phone number. It's 844-684-8255. 844-684-6333. Let me give it to you again. 844-684-6333. Now, you can call that number, and I'm probably sure it's going to be busy in between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. You know, you just got to keep calling, and you can get all the details and see if you qualify for that funeral assistant money. And they have a website also. You can get details. I'll give you the website. Here's the website. It's www.tinyurl.com/funeral assistance. Let me give it to you one more time. It's www.tinyurl.com/funeral assistance. And you can also call U.S. Representative Mike Turner's office. He can also his office can also assist you in trying to get information to see if you qualify for this funeral assistant program. And his office is 937-225-2843. I'll give you his office number again. This is Mike Turner, Representative Mike Turner's office. He can help you. They can help you with the assistance. His office number is 937-225-2843. You can call his number, and you can they'll assist you from there. So that's the FEMA covert-related funeral expenses. You can call those numbers, and you can get some information. Remember when people were saying that we had the minimum wage? We was talking about $15 here and all that kind of thing for federal minimum wage. Well, here's a CEO named Dan Price. Now, Dan Price, what he did was, the headline is, CEO gave employees $70,000 minimum wage revenue. His revenues tripled in 6 years later. Now, he tweeted out 6 years ago today, I raised my company minimum wage to $70,000. He said Fox News called him a socialist whose employees would be in the breadline. That's what Dan Price writes. Well, he is the CEO of a Seattle-based credit card processing company, Gravity Payments. And since he's done that, his revenues have gone up, way up in 6 years. So the company has about 130 employees in Seattle, and he also has an office in Boise. I think that's Boise, Idaho, I believe. And he did the same thing there. And according to his records, his profits have went up. Also, his revenue had tripled. And his workforce has grown by 70%, and his customer base doubled. So, and Dan Price says, always invest in people. So that goes to show you, if you invest in people, you treat your employees right, you give them the benefits they deserve, the company makes money too. Everybody makes money. Everybody's happy. But when these CEOs, and the CEO is the only one making the big money, and they don't want to give a little bit more to the employees to even self-sustain themselves, then there lays the problem. Let me say this. If people make more in unemployment than they do when they were working, then obviously wherever they was working didn't pay them enough. Just plain and simple. Pay these people what they deserve. That's all. Pay them what they deserve. And Dan Price and his company, Gravity Payments, have proven just that. They prove that if you pay them more, you can get more money, get more customers, you can get more employees. It's a win-win situation. Now, unless you got a study out there to say otherwise, I'm giving you living proof. I don't make this stuff up, folks, like some of these politicians do. I base it on facts and what the studies say. So that's what I'm going on, what the studies say. So, well, without further ado, let me say this too, since I'm in this church. People always say, Jesus said, what you do to me, what you do to the least of thee, you do to me. Right? That's what Jesus said. Right? So all you folks talking about you don't want no assistant going here, no assistant going there. What's wrong with helping folk? That's the Christian way, ain't it? At least I thought it was. I think that's what the Bible say. You know what I mean? Ain't that what the Bible say? Don't you call yourself no Christian if you ain't helping those who are downtrodden. Jesus said, when I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was hungry, you fed me. Now we got people in Washington, D.C. who make the law say, Well, let them people starve to death. Don't give them no. We got folks in Georgia legislation, if you stand in the line trying to vote, they done put a law out there you can't even give people a bottle of water. Huh? This is in Georgia, folks. And in Texas and Michigan, these other states are trying to do the same thing, try to stop you from voting. They won't even want you to give somebody who's thirsty a bottle of water. And then you got the nerve to say I'm a Christian. You need to keep your mouth closed because you ain't tricking nobody. And you definitely ain't tricking God. God see what's going on. Come on, folks. You say this is a Christian nation? Well, let's hold the mirror up to this country and see. Hold the mirror up so you can see. And then mirror it to what's in the Bible. If what you're doing don't equate to what's in the Bible, you need to stop doing it. I'm not going to preach. I'll leave that to the pastor of this church because he does it a whole lot better than me. I'm going to close right here. I'm going to close it right here. So, hey, until next time, may God bless you and your family.